This is Lucy, your clarity coach, and this is Tuesday Talks at 3. Welcome to the personal audit series. It is that time of the year. It is Q4, and the corporate houses are carrying out their own assessment plans, their own appraisal plans, I beg your pardon. And so should you. These are best practices that you need to take on in your personal life. This has been a 5-part series which guides you on ways to conduct your personal audit, just for the main purpose of celebrating your successes and finding areas that need your attention. As I mentioned, it is a 5-part series. We've covered 4 so far. The first one was on goal achievement. It was all about reflecting, analyzing, and having a personal improvement plan on whatever goal that you were setting, whether you are able to achieve this goal fully, partially, or not at all. I hope that those tips helped you to just move that needle a little bit more. Great to see you there, Nancy, Jonathan, and Will, and Roseanne. Great to see you there. Ndolo Paul, Karibu Sana, good to see you there. And I've got Mwende Lin, who has joined us today. So I'm just recapping on the sessions that we have had so far on this personal audit series. It's that time of the year, guys. So if you wanted to achieve a goal, you now know from my tips whether you have actually managed to reflect on it deeply enough so that we don't repeat the same mistakes as we did last year. And in so reflecting and analyzing, you are able to identify your successes and know which areas need your attention. And we are doing this again from the 1st of January, so nothing is lost. In fact, you have learned some lessons. Secondly, we moved on to skills and knowledge enhancement. So easy that over the year we can just take in knowledge, But the magic happens when we apply, when we apply this knowledge. So what is it that you've learned over the year? What education have you managed to acquire? Another feather on your cap. What is it as a skill have you learned? And what is it that you want to enhance further now that you know what you know? And so we talked about awareness, we talked about growth, and we looked at the future, the positive impact of what we're doing onto our future. We're human beings, and human beings grow, they move forward, they fall forward. It's not about going backwards. So how do we improve ourselves? How do we become a better version of who we are? And then we have the financial health check, which incidentally was not about money at all, but it is a financial health check on your mindset. So we looked at resolutions. When you make decisions, how do you arrive at making these decisions? Are they those decisions that you make in the beginning of the year that are just full of peer pressure because the Joneses have said they're going to do this? So you too declare that you're going to do it. So what is a mindset around your resolution? Do you own it? And then once you have that, what's your management? What's your management around this mindset? And then the environment that you're in, is it conducive to help you grow with this mindset and whatever it is that you have decided? That was the financial health check. We then dove into health and well-being assessment, my absolute favorite topic, because I really believe that your well-being is so important for you to show up. Only when you are at that level will you be able to show up as you intended to, and you'll even surprise yourself. And there we looked at collaboration. How then do I enhance this well-being of mine and this health of mine? Collaboration. Who are you collaborating with? Where are you getting help from? Mentorship. Are you looking at those who have gone before you and learning from them and kind of sitting at their feet, so to speak, and learning and taking in the learnings and applying? And then that ecosystem. Have you surrounded yourself with something that you can thrive in? Or have you surrounded yourself in a desert where you're not learning anything at all? So this was your well-being. And it kind of, when I talk about well-being, I kind of get like a rejuvenation, an energizing feeling that comes from me. So in whatever area that you're in, ensure whatever career that you're in, whatever specialty that you are in, you take care of your mental well-being. It is important because that's how you're going to show up. And today is our last episode on the personal audit series. And if you know me, you know I live by this, but doesn't come across as if I have made mistakes. I have made so many mistakes. And this particular session today is me sharing with you those downfalls that I experience and how I'm able to climb out of that hole. I'm not totally out of it, so I'm work in progress. So today we're going to touch on those. What Coach Lucy has been challenged with, what I've been grappling with, and how I'm able to work on it a day at a time. So click there on your screen. There's a little thing there that says click the request to join. For your opportunity to engage with me on a one-on-one on the screen now. If you're shy, I get it. All you have to do is drop something here on the thread and I'll be able to sample some of your answers. What are we answering today? What is your biggest time stealer? I'll say that again. What is your biggest time stealer? Share with me here on the thread and we'll be able to sample some of your answers. Today, we seek to understand how to use time management as a tool for efficient productivity. Time management. There are those who know me and call me the queen of time management. I tell you, I am not the queen of time management, but I understand where you're coming from because my behavior may show you. I may exhibit and demonstrate that kind of behavior that shows you that I am the queen of time management. I am struggling with it, but I choose to show up. And this is why you see me as the queen of time management. So let us look at 3 areas that I have worked on and they continue to serve me. And if you've got any tips for me, help me guys, help me with my time management tools towards my productivity, and maybe you'll understand more as we move on. And the first aspect is time wasters. So what are time wasters? You know, time wasters are those things that steal your potential, steal your promises, steal that thing that is meant to be yours. So the first thing is identifying time wasting patterns. And how do you identify time wasting patterns? Begin by recognizing any recurrent time wasting habits. Any recurrent time wasting habits, and this will be your first step towards conducting a personal audit of your time management, or rather of your productivity analyses, for you to be able to know what it is that you are doing. And these could include excessive social media scrolling. Yes, you're nodding your head. Yeah, movies, binging on movies, procrastination, lack of clear prioritization, wanting to do everything, and clearly there must be some aspect of trust issues when it comes to that. You want to do everything. When you have this lack of clear prioritization, it is a time stealer, because you will find yourself being locked into this one task over and over again, and the opportunity cost is your other tasks, and therefore your productivity analysis is going to be at a 0 because you've not managed to do what you're meant to do today. You've just been going round in circles. So assess how these habits impact your overall mental well-being and your personal growth, and acknowledge the emotional and mental toil that it has on you, such as stress, feelings of guilt. If I don't do this, this is what is going to happen. Because I didn't do that yesterday, this is where I am today. Those feelings of guilt can really bog you down. Now, by identifying these patterns, you can start to address them more effectively. It's just that point of awareness of where you're coming from. In my case, I introduce a time management tool that works for me. And it's a very simple time management tool. And that is the clock. And that is a timer on my clock and my to-do list. And like I've always claimed, if you look around my working station right now, I've got to-do lists of to-do lists of to-do lists of to-do lists. And I can easily drown into my to-do list. And this is because I have perfectionism tendencies. And therefore, I want to do everything by myself. And this does not augur well for me. These are one of the things that are time wasters. So where my time could be used in a better way, in a productive manner, I am using a different aspect of my time on something else that does not actually give me the productivity that I'm capable of giving out. So one of the things that I found was excessive social media scrolling. Yes, and I know you're all nodding ahead because you can relate with this. Well, in my world, social media is my world. This is where I get to keep up with the competition. I get to understand what the trends are today. I get to know who's doing what, when, where, if there's any training that I need to be part of. I mean, this morning I attended an amazing training of coaches that was being run virtually from South Africa. So these are the things that I'm able to see on social media. But you know me when I tell you that social media scrolling can be a pattern that you want to manage. Why? Just walk it through with me. Walk through what social media scrolling is. So you see this one post and you begin to scroll. And then this post has somebody else who's commented something about this post, which is very interesting. And it's helping you in this point for personal development. You click onto that link. It takes you to a profile or a handle and you start consuming that information. However, when you end up having something that is of interest to you, your mind starts to wonder. You want to see, what does this word mean? You start to scroll again. You get more and more information. Before you know it, where you started and where you're at are two different places. Yes, you are consuming this knowledge and this information. It is helping with your personal development, but at what cost? So this is where my alarm clock comes in. And this is me figuring it out after a long time. I used to wonder when I wake up in the morning, that's what I started doing, scrolling on my phone and getting information, which really helped me a lot. But then in the long run, it was not helping me with my productivity. I had to put in something. So my to-do list came up and I have to start working on the to-do list at a certain time in the day, and that is where my alarm clock comes in. And I have managed this effectively, not to the best of my ability. There's still room for improvement. And that is what Personal Audit Series is all about. It's about you celebrating your successes and you seeing those areas where it needs more attention of you, of your time, things that perhaps you have to learn, things that you have to pull back on, things that you can say no to so that you can say yes to your to-do plan and that focus that you're on. So that was me working on my clock and my time management. The other thing that I managed to, shall I say, bury myself in, or was it a solace, was during the pandemic. Now, during the pandemic, movies were my go-to. I love me a good movie. And during my time, and that could resonate with most of you out there, we went to movies. And you watched a movie, you paid for a ticket, you sat in the seat, you had your popcorn, you had your drink, you had your hot dog, and you got immersed on the screen. And you enjoyed that movie experience. But then check in Netflix. Now, Netflix for me came in with movies. And then guess what? During the pandemic, these movies then became series for me. I never used to watch series because I watch my 90 minutes or my 120 minutes of a movie and I've taken in, I'm good to go. I know the story, I've engaged with the actors. But then came series. That means you have got so many episodes of these series and maybe you've got 10 series to one particular show. How many episodes are those? And then when you finish, if it's 45 minutes or even 20 minutes, if it's a comedy, you can't wait to start the next one. What was happening to me? I was getting drowned in this hole, this pit of lack of productivity. And maybe you can relate with me. We need help if you can relate with me. But I can tell you my time management tool has worked for me and it continues to work for me. Procrastination. Procrastination, as I have claimed before, right here, I am a recovering procrastinator. Where does this come from? It comes from my need to be a perfectionist. And because I have this need to be a perfectionist, I can write an email right now, read that email, and I will dot the I's and cross the T's, and then I'll save it in my draft to revisit it and check for the tone, to check if I have grabbed every aspect of what the client was requesting me, and then leave it in my draft again. And you find that at the end of the day, I either haven't sent this email or I totally forget about it. But as I'm shutting down my laptop at the end of the business day, which at times is quite late in the night, I realize that I've got certain windows that I haven't closed, and one of them, two of them, three of them, four of them, five of them are emails that I did not send, all because of my nature of being a perfectionist. So what happens? I'm procrastinating. So I'm a recovering procrastinator. If you can relate with me, just drop I can in the thread there, and I'll be able to join you right there and relate with you too. The last one that I talked about was the lack of prioritization. And this is a dangerous place to be, because if you do not know how to prioritize things, you will end up just taking what's at the top of the list and just doing it, and finding that at the end of the day, you are not efficient in your process. So you want to be able to move away from wanting to do everything. You want to be able to have trust. And you may be having trust issues. I had trust issues for the longest time. And it was something so simple that my coach helped me to unpack. I did not trust that somebody else would do it as good as I did. That's a myth. That's a myth only that exists in my mind. We all have different capabilities and we bring different strengths to the table. Let it go. And in that letting go, you create space for other things to occupy your mind, things that you choose of productivity. And you end up learning from these other people that you give of this work to. So I'm hoping that those 4 areas, which are time stealers for me, you can relate to them. Why don't you share with me some of your time stealers? The offer is still there for you to click the join so that you can join me here live and engage on one-on-one as we answer that question. What is your biggest time stealer? I would love to know. I don't see the chat moving there. If I just check it right now, it will be good to engage with you. So in my case, as I said, I merged this time management tool, and it was a merger of my to-do lists, which are around me, and my alarm clock. So then we move on to optimization. Now that you have identified what your time stealers are, remember we're looking at productivity analyses. Once you've identified what they are, those patterns then lead you to what it is exactly that is making you waste time and engage in these activities, therefore not having an outcome that you desire. You want to be able to focus on optimizing these strategies, like the strategies that I've shared with you. What is it that's going to help you move from point A to B? But some of them that I would give you is by setting clear and SMART goals. We've talked about this before, and I will repeat it here again. Setting clear and SMART goals, which is achievable goals for you, that you will be able to move on and work on this. This way, you're ensuring that you can align your values with your priorities, because when you do that, you get this sense of fulfillment, because you're doing something that is true to you. Intrinsically, you are motivated, you're true to it. And then you may also search on the internet for time management techniques to help you optimize your productivity. You can also delegate. Remember the lack of prioritization? Delegate. Teach somebody else to learn this task and take it off your hands. It creates space for you. It helps you to, buy back some time that could have been stolen from you. Work smart by embracing digital tools and apps that will help you be able to streamline what it is that you want to achieve. One of the things, again, that I always talk about is a daily schedule. And what I'm going to add in here today is, in that daily schedule of your to-do lists, ensure that you have got me time. Just incorporate that in your schedule, whatever it is, and that will take care of the guilt. You won't feel guilty when you sit back and enjoy your glass of water, your glass of juice, your cup of tea, your cup of coffee, or just people gazing, if that's what that does it for you, I beg your pardon. But just you being able to relax and allow your body and your mind, your thoughts, your spirit, just to take a break. Because you come back stronger when you are able to relax the body and internalize what your day or the time has been. That reflection is so powerful, and you need it. And I can see there's a comment here. Procrastination for Will. Oh, Will. Yes, Will. Procrastination is also a time stealer. And procrastination stops you from reaching your full potential. But the minute that you identify what it is that is making you procrastinate, the effect here is procrastination, but the cause, there is a cause. My cause is perfectionism, and that is what is ending up as procrastination. You want to be able to get that right, Will. So make sure that you understand what is that cause of procrastination. What is it? What is it that is making you not do what you want to do? And this will help you to optimize. Once you identify that and you have strategies, you then get to optimize on your potential. So that is optimizing. And the last but not least is efficiency. I love efficiencies. In fact, if I could be turned into a machine, I would be a well-oiled machine. That is my desire. Well-oiled machine, again, you see where the perfectionism is coming in? We need to manage whatever characteristic that you have. It's not a bad thing to be a perfectionist. That just tells people that you have given your best, you have shown up, you have crossed the T's and dotted the I's, and people appreciate the attention that you put to something, but it can also be in a negative way, as you can hear in procrastination. So when we talk about balancing efficiency and personal growth, it means that we are bringing these two together. We've identified those patterns that we have. We've brought in the optimization through the strategies. And by adopting these strategies that enhance our efficiency and personal development, we are able to grow. So how can you do this? You'd ask me, Lucy. I would say brainstorm. Brainstorm. Make sure that you are using or making maximum use of that tribe that you have, that environment, the inner circle that we've talked about before. Brainstorm and find out what is it that would work? What are the best practices that have worked in that area of your productivity, so that when you come to analyze it, you can say, I actually brainstormed on this idea, I tried it and it works 10%, 20%, 50% or not at all, and I want to build up on it when I line up my 2024. And then comes the monitoring. You know, once you've understood what your strategies are and you've adopted them and you're running with them, that aspect of monitoring and evaluating is the aspect that people tend to miss out. Just because you are out of the gates, you believe that all is well. What if I told you that if you were able to do that audit through monitoring and evaluating, you can actually perfect your art once you're out of that gate? Because you're consistently aware of what you're doing, your capability, you're listening to your body, you're listening to your capabilities, you're listening to what your mind is telling you, and you're making that work for you. Would that be something of interest to you? To know that this is where your efficiency comes in. That is a well-oiled machine. Because if one cog is just out, thank you so much for that, spot on. When one cog is out of whack, then you're no longer efficient. So pay attention. And let me just give you some 5 things that can help you to pay attention. Just stay on track. Continuously evaluate your performance and adapt to change. Change is the one constant thing. So when you're out of that gate, you are about to meet the environment that you're not in control of. You're only in control of your input, what you're putting into this race. But what is coming at you is something you're not in control of. So you've got to monitor what is happening. Think of a marksman who pulls back, draws back the bow, and is about to release, and suddenly the wind comes in. This marksman has got to take that wind velocity into consideration. It'll be foolhardy for this marksman to just release, because it's not going to hit that bullseye. That wind is going to shift. And so this is your life. Apply it in your life. Secondly, cultivate a growth mindset. And we've talked about this before, but this is so relevant here. This mindset that encourages learning. Be a student of life and for life. learning and self-improvement. Number 3, I would say, is invest in ongoing skill development, staying relevant in your field. Identifying what your field is and knowing what you need to look out for. We call it listening skills. Anything, or shall we call it keywords, maybe that's a better term. Keywords that you're going to punch in, that every time those words are used somewhere, they pop up for you. Or use hashtags that will help you at least follow those words as they go. And that helps you to grow with your enhancement. Number 4 is establishing boundaries. And for your mental well-being, it is very important for you to know when to say no and when to say yes. And to know that it is attached to your values, so you're honoring yourself. You're honoring what is true to yourself spiritually. You're honoring what is true to yourself mentally, physically. Boundaries are important. They are very hard to set, but once you set them, you start to see your potential really coming up to meet you. And last but not least is fostering a work-life balance. And your work-life balance is just understanding what it is that supports your overall health of your mental well-being. So these steps have gone a long way for me in helping me be able to work out my personal audit when it comes to my productivity analyses. I then know how effective I have been, or how ineffective I have been. Or is it ineffective? I'm not sure which word it is. If somebody could just drop me the right word right there, then I will know where I stand. It was the author Peter Drucker who said, until we manage time, we can manage nothing else. And this is why time management as a tool has continuously worked for me. Now, incorporating these steps, as I have shared them with you, there were 3 steps. And those steps, as I've shared them with you, identifying who the time wasters or what the time wasters are, optimizing on strategies, coming down to that point of strategies, and then working out what your efficiency is. Remember that well-oiled machine. Incorporating these steps into your personal audit are very key, because then you'll be able to know your productivity analyses clearly. You will know exactly what it takes. That extra degree, that moves you from boiling water to steam. You will know when you're there or when you're not there, what you need to get to that last degree. Because isn't it amazing? Water can just be sitting on fire and just getting hot. But it needs to get to a certain degree for it to convert and get steam. So how does that land for you? What is it that you need to do to get to that 1 degree that's going to convert you from what you're doing every day into your potential? I just say that it is something great for you to promote your mental well-being and personal development, and that has got to be a good thing. For me, that's intrinsic motivation. That is what wakes me up every day. So we've come to the end of our session today. As you use time management for efficient productivity, remember 3 things, and these are your takeaways for today. Patterns can be a good thing and can be a bad thing. The decision is yours. Which way do you go? Which patterns are you going to take on as your best practice, and which ones are you going to get rid of? Number 2, regular checks keep you on track. It is so important to have regular checks. Remember, you're out of that gate and you need to check in, because your input is working at full 100% steam, but whatever is coming at you is alien. So check in with yourself. What do you need to adapt to? What kind of change do you need to adopt at this point? And last but not least, allocate R&R, rest and recuperation. Allocate me time, because this rejuvenates you and you're able to jump onto that proverbial productivity horse. I want to thank you so much for being with me in this episodes of Personal Audit series. The 5 of them, you've shown up every day, and I really thank you for showing up to do this. And as it marks the end of our Personal Audit series, I promise you that this particular episode will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel, which is LMC Consultancy, by this evening. You want to hop on there and subscribe for updates on our sessions. Now, our social media platforms have great tips on mental development, on personal development and mental well-being. And it's something that you definitely want to get onto and just listen to the tips and add some of yours. I'd love to hear back from you. Our social media platforms, you can find us on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram that you're on right now as Lucy, your Clarity Coach. And while you were there, please look out and sign up for our Black Friday offer coming up in November. Our next series is all about lining up the next year or the next season of your life. Let us help build each other. And until then, be kind to yourselves. Bye-bye now.